Good evening, everyone. William in here, 1799. If you like this video, hit that subscribe button at the bottom. Love to hear from you. And hit that notification bell if you can. Love to hear from a lot of you people out there. Social Security, remember I talked about that, right? And I talked about that because this is what really came down to this here, like the old guy right there. It's interesting to listen to what came out of this. So the Democrats, some rhino Republicans too, talked about from 1973 to 2025, Social Security is going to be gone. And a lot of it from since President Trump came in office, they said he was going to destroy it, take away from it. Bullshit. Ain't going to happen. But they said by 2033, it'll be unsustainable. It won't be here. Okay. And that one. So, when we listen to all these bastards, we kind of get the idea of what they're talking about. But you can check a lot of this out on the 401k and see how this thing works. Now, yeah, a lot of people say, well, it's in the stock market. The stock market is down. I lost a lot of my money on my Social Security. It'll come back up again. It'll come back up again. So don't panic on that issue. But I'm going to try to give you the downturn of what these people who sold us into this 401k plan never thought of or wasn't supposed to be. Okay. So, in the technical term, the 401k, get my eyeballs on here. The 401k was established in 1978 in November, and I do believe it was November, right? And, November 6, 1978, signed into law by President Ronald Reagan. Okay. So let's crawl into that a little bit here. Let's just look at this for a minute. I'm gonna lay this out the best way I can. The 401k was established in 1978 with the Revenue Act of 1978, specifically sanctioned 401k to allow employees to defer taxes on a portion of their income and contribute to their retirement plan. The goal was to create a tax advantage to retirement savings plan that was more inclusive through the executive profit sharing plan. Well, what they didn't tell everybody, and this is the interesting point about it, they didn't tell everybody this, that the 401k was, in other words, was not to replace Social Security. It was to subsidize Social Security. And basically on that, it was kind of like if you had a pension plan and you had the 401k and your Social Security, you were good to go. But many employers looked at this as, hey, we can get out of the pension plan and put everybody in the 401k. We'll just add to it. But were they getting tax write-offs for that? That's a good question, huh? Because they were really quick to put everybody into 401k. Also, 401k was also designed to, and, which we'll get into that, basically state and government pensions and federal pensions. The 401k, much of the 401k area was concluded to rising in the stock housing prices and proper on family wealth measured on even the savings of the decline. These houses cards collapsed in 2000 and 2001. And again in 2007 2009. And in 2013, families still had not recovered from the losses from the financial crisis, which created a recession, let alone accumulated additional savings for their retirement. Selective generations should have savings more than a defined contribution plan due to the decline and the defined benefit of the pension coverage. Social Security benefit cuts and higher incomes. Social Security cuts and higher incomes. Who cut Social Security? We don't have to go far on that one now, do we? Okay. Well, this is all around the 2013, 27, all that area there, right? Okay. While retirement account savings and family approaching retirements grew before the financial crisis, the Great Recession, those of younger families stayed flat. But families approaching retirement have more than to lose, which, again, that's the problem, and did when the asset prices collapsed in 2007-2009. The recession can be very damaging to workers nearing retirement age, or since they have less than the makeup of the loss of their retirement outcomes and influence more than investments return through new contributions, in addition to many older workers who lost their jobs tapped retirement savings. So if you were laid off or your job moved away or whatever it may be, unemployment will tell you, look, do you have a pension or do you have a 401k? That question always comes up. You say yes to that, they're going to try to play some game with you. They don't want you to tap into that and then before you go to Social Security. I'm sorry, not Social Security, but what I meant to say was unemployment. Now, here's the thing here that's interesting. Families with large account balances saw a large dollar decline in 2007, but in percentage terms, the financial crisis, zooming recession, and greater impact on the families with small balances, while the medium 50th families saw emerged retirement account savings drop by more than half between 2007 and 2010. So the percentage of the families experienced a 5% decline. Thus, retirement inequality continued to grow in the aftermath of the Great Recession. So this is interesting because a lot of this stuff, mind you, when Social Security benefits were being cut, the 401k was supposed to expand somehow. That's just craziness how they come up with this mess. Other forms of savings, including home equity, may be tapped or paid for retirement, but families' net worth took even a bigger hit, and then retirement savings. Following the collapse of the housing bubble, this ensuing recession, like retirement savings, overall wealth have grown more than inequality and percentage decline, as well as the top 20% of the working age families have been declined such work. The Social Security that these cuts were being made were brought onto the House floor and eventually were signed into law, because the 401k was supposed to take up the differences of the Social Security. Companies and corporations were taking advantage of this 401k thing as like a We can just put everybody in the 401k. We'll put money into it. They'll match the money out of your retirement. There it is. But they didn't tell about the tax changes. They didn't tell anybody that. Like I said before, the 401k was established in 1978 with the Revenue Act of 1978, specifically sanctioned 401k to allow employees to defer taxes on their portions of their income and contribute the retirement plan. The goal was to create a tax advantage retirement savings plan that was more inconclusive with executive profit sharing plan. You can't make this stuff up. In other words, you weren't supposed to pay outrageous taxes on this thing. Now, the father of this is interesting. His name is Ted Burnham. Many early backers of the 401k said it wasn't designed to be a primary retirement tool. They acknowledged that they used a forecast that was too optimistic to sell the plan in early days. The Wall Street Journal reported. Others say that the propagation of the 401k plan was exposed workers to big drops in the stock market and high fees. High fees from Wall Street and managers, money managers, what's that? Even the father of the 401k, Ted Burnham, tells the Journal that he regrets that he helped open the door for Wall Street to make even more money, on your retirement, your 401k, than we're already marketing. Other experts on the blog Economic Policies Institute that recently declared the 401k a poor substitute to defined benefit pensions plans, and many other workers primarily rallied on to provide the fixed payout of the employee at a retirement, and which had become increasingly rare. So, it wasn't supposed to be the scapegoat for corporations and businesses. So that's basically what it came back down to. The private sector workers have traditionally pension compared to 38% in 1979, reported in the Journal. That despite that, the 401k far less saved unlikely defined benefits and pensions, which saved less. In other words, you didn't get half what you really needed in your pension plan. You would have got a hell of a lot more than your 401ks. Thus, despite the 401k was less safe. This is the guy who designed this thing. Unlikely defined benefits and pensions, which provide to set payouts of 401k accounts, rise and fall from financial markets. Additionally, taxes were added additional to the 401k. Accidental retirement revolution began in 1978 with Congress and declined to alter the tax code with the Revenue Act. So they actually added more taxes to your retirement. You can't make this stuff up. So everything is benefited on the pension plan was, instead of having the pension plan and the 401k and your Social Security, they just dumped everything on this 401k and allowed corporations to bail out. Well, there it is. You can't make this stuff up. So if you like that, share it, subscribe, understand what it is, and all I gotta say is just bear with the stock market. It'll get better. Those who are close to retirement, I hate to tell you. So till then, don't be afraid to defend yourselves. Get the proper training. We'll catch you around.